Sacral sites shrouded in ancient legends and mysteries. Places which, based on beliefs, are vested with unearthly powers. What did those who built them believe? How did those people see the world and their place in it? A group of scientists from Nazarbayev University, researchers of Kazakh geography, Kazakhstan National Geographic Society, travelers and writers have embarked on the expedition to pierce into their mysteries. In this episode, what valuable documents one can find in Karkaraly archives? What can one learn about local history by exploring a local cemetery? How has Kunanbai Mosque changed in the last 100 years? The 10-day Karkaraly, Kazakhstan expedition started in Astana with the aim to explore 6 sacral sites in central and eastern Kazakhstan, including Jibek Ishan Mazar near Ekibastuz, the 100-years-old Akkol Mosque, Buddhist temples of Ablaykit and Kizilkent, the Karkaraly Cave and Kunanbai Mosque in Karkaraly. The project is called The Investment Capacity of the Sacral Geography of Kazakhstan, Space Monitoring, IT Technologies, Historical and Cultural Analysis, creation of the Electronic Atlas of the Republic of Kazakhstan. The atlas will allow you, irrespective of where you are physically, be it in Kazakhstan or in the US, to get all available ethnographic and historical analytical information on a given site in just one click. Electronic mapping is a methodology which is actively applied now. It was launched in Switzerland. It's basically about creating a huge information system tied to the map, by means of which we can understand, for example, the positioning of a monastery, why it was built exactly where it is. We are a multidisciplinary team which includes GIS specialists and historians working with archive records, as well as anthropologists who are talking to people, collecting the folklore material associated with these specific locations. In case of absence of written sources, oral sources are also nowhere to be found. At times, the available information is extremely sporadic and disconnected. In temporary terms, we lost that generation. Urbanization and globalization are underway. Some residents of these auls move to cities and basically dissolve in the urban environment. As a result, we're losing this touch. We're losing what has remained, the fragments and the rich narrative of oral legends. Our task is to meet these people and write down what they know and remember while we still can. By now, the expedition has completed most of the journey. Our final destination is the town of Karkaraly, hosting the mosque built by Kunanbai Uskenbayuli, the father of Abai. In Karkaraly, I was very much impressed by and got really interested in the local archive. The thing is that there they have interesting materials dating back to the 30s of the last century. This material has emerged unexpectedly. We were looking for any pre-revolution documents associated with the main target of our investigation, the Mosque of Kunanbai. The materials here are very interesting because they demonstrate the shift from Arabic writing to Cyrillic. These documents correspond to the early years of the establishment of the Soviet power in Kazakhstan.
Это именно период такого становления, ранние годы советской власти в Казахстане.
This trip is preliminary. We want to get acquainted with the region, the area in general and local historians. In the future we would very much like to closely cooperate with them.
The
region has impressed me really. For example, our meeting with local historian Yelan Mustafin, who is an excellent specialist on the region. He showed us many interesting places in Karkaraly. Karkaralinsk was exactly the place where Sufism per se developed. Since the very moment of the town's establishment, all our spiritual leaders were more biased towards the Sufi teaching of Naqshbandiya Tariqat. He is buried in Bukhara. Is there something factual proving the connection with Naqshbandiya Tariqat? Yes, I have documents that the spiritual people who lived here were the students of Bakaddin Naqshbandiya's students. I was even able to find a tomb of one sheikh, Absida Kishan. The gravestone has old Arabic writing on it, Chagatai to be specific, and so it says that the sheikh belonged to Naqshbandiya Tariqat. Could we go there to take a picture? By all means. We went to the mosque of Kunanbai, the father of Abai. Unfortunately, it didn't manage to keep its initial appearance, but it doesn't make the site less important. In history, personality plays a huge role. We cannot deny that. The symbolical capital and legacy that Kunanbai left, it is still here. Take Abai, for example. He and Abai Kunanbayev are interconnected figures. The mosque witnessed some rough times. Its foundation stone was laid in 1851, and it is one of the examples of continued Islamization of the nomads that had begun long before Kunanbai, many centuries earlier. It was even used as a stable during the Soviet time. We understood that the mosque was in deplorable condition based on the words of a local historian. We thought we would be lucky if we found some wall remains, and they restored the mosque. Of course, we couldn't have expected that it was an absolute copy built using the same materials, designs and engineering solutions. Kunanbai Mosque has witnessed at least 2-3 restorations in the course of the last 20 years. No doubt we'll not be able to recover its initial look. The main question is whether this site became something different, and whether it has reached the level of national reverence. Yes, thanks to the modern media and the state ideology, the site is living a totally different life now. When an expedition takes place at such a high speed and you see so many different locations and sites, of course it creates confusion in the head, but emotions remain all the same. With time, everything finds its place on the shelf. In fact, the expedition is over only physically, but it will continue inside of us until all the information and impressions settle down.